Dalam BuzzPOP hari ini, kita bakal membedah Why the Last Man Season 1 episod 4. Para panelis kita hari ini terdiri daripada saya, Nadzru Iskandar daripada BuzzPOP TV, serta kaki manga kita Andri Alwi. What's up bro?
What's up?
Right. Dan juga kaki buku kita Jamal Raslan. What's up man?
What's up bros?
Nampaknya Duan tak dapat join kita hari ni. Maybe dia still tengah mengembara ya bersama Agent 355, but hopefully he will join us midway.
Ke dia stress lepas tengok episod 4, dia macam okay, dia give up dengan
Tua kan? Maybe agak. Kita akan mulakan perbincangan malam ini dengan reaksi satu ayat.
Terima kasih komplimentari artis.
Okay. So reaksi satu ayat aku untuk episod minggu ini adalah enjin baru nak panas mate. Judul episod minggu ini adalah Karen and Benji, melambangkan nama samaran yang digunakan oleh Hero dan Sam ketika bertembung dengan Nora dan Mac. So apakah reaksi satu ayat anda? Kita mulakan dengan Andri. Silakan Andri.
Okay, satu ayat. Infuriating. This episode is infuriating. Gerak sangat.
Okay. I look forward to kenapa tu kalau kau boleh condense it down before kita explain lagi dalam 5 babak.
I want to shit and say that this episode was shit, but it actually was a better episode.
Oh yeah.
And it actually delivered on the purpose. So I cannot say shit, but I don't quite enjoy it much. So
okay.
I elaborate further
nanti. Jamal, apa pendapat kau sebagai seorang yang tak pernah baca komik dia and only watching the series? Silakan.
Aku punya reaksi satu perkataan ya, itu reaksi aku satu perkataan aku. Pada aku in terms of tone is the same as the first 3 episodes. Lepas tu tak banyak movement daripada episod ketiga sampai ke episod keempat. Like knowing that the first season is going to last 10 episodes and knowing that the entire source material ada 63 episode, ada 63 chapters, aku rasa macam kalau di compress dan condense semua kat dalam satu season pun this is too slow. Kalau dia nak buat 2 atau 3 season pun this is still too slow. I love slow burns. I am really cool with slow burns as long as it manages to capture my imagination atau attention. Tapi I'm not saying that I'm patient with the series. I just give it a chance at episode 3. So sekarang episode 4 aku tak nampak it's getting anywhere. So yang aku nampak I was hoping that lepas diorang land daripada helikopter tu macam something would happen. Nothing much. The only thing worth noting was for me Sam dengan Hero. Itu je lah. Tapi benda tu is about 10 minutes in total, 10 to 15 minutes total out of the 40 minute punya episode punya 40 minutes. So macam habis tu lagi 30 minit tu apa jadi. So yeah.
Filler. Okay. Personally pada aku it's better than the first 3 lah. At least sekarang kita nampak Yorick is on his journey. Tapi soalannya kau dah ada helikopter, kenapa kau tak pergi Boston terus? Agent 355 cakap, kita nak avoid orang nampak kita, so kita park seminggu away from Boston. Okay, betul.
Tapi ni kau kata Yorick is on his journey. See, you have the benefit of reading the book. Now, aku yang tak pernah baca buku tu, aku still tak tahu journey dia apa. Because the book establishes the journey is to look for BETH. Kan?
Betul.
And then
we are cursed by knowledge. Pada kau, yes, dia memang nampak.
So now aku yang macam I'm not cursed with the knowledge. I knew about it afterwards, and I don't really care for it. Pun aku rasa macam okay. So even if he's not on his journey, if he's supposed to be on his journey, this episode would be him discovering what that journey is lah, kan? So there is not even lines atau dialogues that says macam I don't want to go see this doctor, but I have to go and see why. Nothing of the sort. So yeah, I mean like as a series, it's alright. It's a slow burn series. Dia macam Jupiter Ascending. Tapi that's pretty much it lah. And I think because it has a source material, that is its biggest weakness.
Betul. So kita ada beberapa komen dari penonton di rumah. Amin Azmi mengatakan, mantap BuzzPOP, masih nak review ke? Masa episod 1 hingga 3 aku tengok tak berapa sangat. Kita bagi chance setiap siri yang kita buat live stream up to episode 5. Kalau by episode 5 still kita orang tak tangkap, then usually kita orang akan stop. So nampaknya minggu depan might be our last week. We'll see. Kemudian Amirul mengatakan, okay, Anri tak mengeluh tapi geram.
Geram, yes.
Kemudian
that is not an improvement.
ya betul.
Yes.
Kemudian Wan mengatakan why Okay lah guys, so dengan itu kita akan membincangkan 5 babak menarik daripada episod minggu ini. Jadi babak menarik kita yang pertama adalah tentang BETH, di mana Staties wives versus Yorick ya. Kita nampak Yorick menghadapi masalah apabila identitinya didedahkan ketika pergi ke pasar malam ya. So Agent 355 ada mengatakan, do you have any sense of what the hell we're doing here? You need to grow the fuck up. You need to grow the fuck up and do as you're told. So soalan aku kepada para panelis, apakah pendapat anda tentang Yorick menggunakan trik post-op trans man looking for testosterone sebagai cover apabila dijumpai oleh Staties wives di pasar malam? Seperti kita bincangkan last week, that sekarang dalam dunia LGBTQIA ni, you can actually use that as an excuse compared to when it was written 18 tahun lepas. So yes, your thoughts about that, dan adakah Yorick sedang bermimpi di siang hari mencari BETH di tengah-tengah pasar malam? So kita mulakan dengan Andri. Blatantly, this is not the storyline from the comics. Aku rasa this whole episode is not. So we will just discuss it as an episode of a series that you are watching. So silakan.
Yeah. I think at this point kan, we should just throw away the comic books and just accept it for it is lah. A bastardized version of the story. Okay, there are things that I like about this and things that I don't like about this. I like the indirect world building. We see how the world copes after the death of man. We see the woman, they start their own economy. Cash memang tak guna dah. And then they set stuff, and then usually macam barter system. So 355 nak jual generator helicopter for a motorcycle. Okay. And the seller said, what am I supposed to do this? Which is actually a very good, legit response. Aku nak buat apa dengan tu? And then she just buka sikit at the hand grenade. Okay, that one I know what to do. So it was cool seeing that. The subtle things that they put. It was also cool to see the setup. They were doing it in a stadium, which is actually a great place for setting for a makeshift market. So all these details of the world building, okay, is a plus. And then the police wives, okay, is a plus. This is what happens when a group of women who are used to have their own clique, they run up together, they create their own gang or faction, whatever you call it, and this is how they survive now. They ambil pau lah, whatever, cukai ufti from these people. Okay, more world building stuff. Saya suka. Thing saya tak suka kan is how for some reason Yorick kan dapat jumpa BETH kat sini and he went out of the plan, terus kejar. It is unbelievable for him to see BETH here and then tiba-tiba endanger himself and 355 who's basically sticking her neck out for this guy. I tak suka dia punya cara. He's so macam nak kata fickle-minded. It's not actually the correct word, but it looks like he's nak kata he's the worst male example yang humanity have to depend on right now.
Yeah, dia macam he's not aware that he is the last man.
Yeah.
Dia tahu berapa pentingnya dia. That's why 355 say like, do you know what the hell we're doing here? It's like
yeah, kalau if you die, how is the girls supposed to continue humanity? Fuck your episode. Pergi dekat sperm bank tuang dekat dia punya beripat. There's no awareness of this at all. And when he got caught by these wives and the part where he tried to pass him off as a, what you call that, transgender person, okay, if you like to do this right, nak tipu kan, at least kan, shave or something now. It's like macam the writers, they do not put effort kan to actually enrich the male punya role now, the male character. We see they give all these roles to all these female characters, even yang bodoh-bodoh sekejap punya pun. They have this small minute interactions that we can pick up, we can appreciate. But for Yorick, right, it's like they purposely make him so dumb, so stupid, so irritating all the time we see him, right? And it's just like blatant disrespect for the character. That is the part I don't like at all in the series.
Yeah, the fact that they made him weak instead of, self-reliant, independent.
At least if you,
artist,
at least if you try to pass yourself as transgender, right, at least try to shave, or at least talk in a high-pitched voice or something like that. Do something, or wear a bracelet, about some jewelry, or make sure you bring a macam apa, what you call that, those testosterone jab punya thing.
Yeah,
something.
and say I'm looking for this. Yeah.
Effort, but it's like the writers don't even bother to write this character properly. So there you go.
Okay. Jamal, ada soalan bonus. Ironically, in the same episode, a post-op transgender man also had the same like, siapa kau? Macam mana kau boleh survive? Aku macam, you figure out on yourself. Maksudnya dia dah letih nak explain kat orang yang aku adalah post-op transgender man. Okay. So apa pendapat kau? The duality of it. The fact that Sam also went through the same thing dengan Nora, tapi he had the balls to say that I'm tired of explaining my shit. Sedangkan Yorick was like, guys, ada testosterone tak? Maksudnya tak convincing lah. So was that meant to show the duality that, okay, Yorick could have done better, ataupun Yorick's trying to pass off, but this is how you do it. This is how Sam does it. So your thoughts about that? Silakan.
To be honest, aku tak nampak duality dekat situ, because it's so poorly written. I feel that Sam punya character was able to answer macam tu sebab dia dah lalui benda tu dan dia sedang lalui benda tu. Jadi dia dah come to a point yang dia tak kisah kenapa orang-orang yang mempersoalkan dan bertanya tentang benda tu, dan walaupun dia ada jawapan yang paling sesuai dan dia boleh memilih untuk jawab, dia tak kisah. Dia dah tak larat, and dalam suasana dunia yang dystopian ni tak perlu dia nak jawab dah, because benda tu tak penting, dan kalau ya pun dia nak buat apa. So bila engkau dah ada watak yang macam tu, yang aku rasa dia tak cukup kembangkan. I think that character in the book played a great foil to hero punya character.
I don't think that character existed in the book, bro.
There you go. See, it's even worse.
This is addition.
Because kalau kau dah create character tu dan kau letak character tu sebagai kawan baik kepada hero, dan dia kena serve dua purpose lah based on the first 3 episodes dan plus 1 lah, episode 4 ni. Adalah satu, dia adalah counterpoint to hero punya character from the standpoint of hero punya addiction dan hero punya guilt dan hero punya remorse. But we do not see that. Kita nampak dia nak tolong hero sebagai seorang kawan, tapi itu the bare minimum lah. Kalau kau betul kawan baik, memang that is expected kan. So if you are able to write a character yang support, okay, aku nak paksa kau pergi Washington DC sebab kau macam lian nak pergi. What else is a best friend supposed to do? Betul tak? So it's not surprising if you're able to write that character. As a matter of fact, you expected to be able to write that. Tapi bila kau buat character macam tu, then kau tak macam mana nak kata, dia tak establish kenapa dia baik dengan hero. Dan kenapa dia yang baik dengan hero dan bukan watak-watak lain yang baik dengan hero. So you have to sort of like have a bit of respect to that character also. So kalau dia nak jadikan duality macam ni, his character is already weak, even though in that particular scene, benda tu is I guess the right thing to do. So bila kau compare benda tu dengan apa yang Yorick buat, and I just mentioned this, kan aku cakap last week punya case kan, tiba-tiba Yorick berlakon daripada awal, I said it, aku yang tak baca buku, aku dah cakap dah. So they did it, meaning aku tahu, meaning I guess aku punya pemikiran tak jauh beza dengan dia punya writer punya pemikiran, but the way they did it was very lame lah pada aku. Buat apa kau nak kena tutup muka kau macam tu, and kalau kau datang kau nak guna disguise atau alasan macam tu, you don't have to cover your face macam kau cakap ni, just shave So Adi cakap just shave your face, buat macam tu, so nampak lagi kau tak sorok. The moment kau sorok dah orang tahu kau cuak lah. So for me, benda tu tak jadi duality because of that. Yorick, the moment Yorick gunakan alasan tu adalah pada satu insiden yang pelik sebab dia tak berapa konsisten dengan karakter dia. Kemudian dia tak desperate sangat dan dia pergi mendesperatekan diri dan menggunakan alasan yang nampak sangat desperate. So kalau aku jadi state-wise tu, dia macam, apa hal kau tiba-tiba cakap macam ni? Because if you're a girl and you want to be a man, kau lagilah tak payah nak sorok muka kau. Because kau tahu satu dunia sekarang perempuan je. Kan? So kau tak payah nak tutup dengan topeng tu, kau boleh tutup dengan hood pun cukup. Because at the end of the day, kalau orang selak pun kau tak kisah.
Dia macam, the comic image is always Yorick pakai face mask ni. Tapi over the last 19 years, time have changed enough yang transgender male and female is now out and about in society. So dia macam dia terikat dengan image yang ada dalam komik, tapi kalau dia follow tu, then dia tak boleh guna benda this cool new shit yang dia nak mainkan with. So it's kind of weird.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Tapi if that were to be the case, then Yorick should have been wearing the mask since episode 1, which was not the case. So kenapa Yorick nak tiba-tiba attach dengan image Yorick pakai topeng yang dalam source material hanya dalam episode 4?
Oh, dalam first time kita jumpa dia sebelum Suez tu, he was wearing the mask. Cuma dia suka buka.
So that's my point. That's my point. Dia tak patut buka. Dia tak patut buka kalau dia nak ada benda tu, because that thing is breathable through it. Kalau dia dah balik rumah kat dalam dia punya macam lair ke, dalam dia punya tempat tidur ke, then dia buka, makes a lot of sense. So kalau kau paint, lepas tu kau buka, you're out in the open, then kenapa? Faham tak? You're out in the open, kau baru lukis graffiti, kau tak takut pun, and then kau buka, lepas tu macam, oh nanti orang nampak kau pakai. Dude, like, so it's tak berapa clear kat situ. And then one more yang aku particular is the fact that dia banyak tunjuk Yorick punya character motivations as opposed to letting Yorick tell the character motivations. Case in point, dia punya attachment dengan BETH lah. So dah nampak daripada episode 2 kita tahu okay, kau attach dengan BETH, so kejap-kejap tengok phone kau, kejap-kejap dengar phone, kejap-kejap dengar phone. So there is a connection to that, and that is the alasan for him to run off because dia nampak konon-kononnya susuk tubuh BETH, and then lepas tu tiba-tiba macam oh salah orang, silau mata, and then tiba-tiba kena tahan dengan Staties. So benda tu semata-mata seolah-olah nak justifikan dia kena tahan dengan Staties tu je. And then phone aku terjatuh. Lepas tu it was that easy for him to leave her, AJ355, to go and follow BETH punya image. And then bila dia dah sedar dia tertinggal phone, AJ355 kata, you don't seem to understand what we are doing here. Okay lah, tak apalah aku tinggal phone tu. Dude! Like you risk a lot of things to go and chase an image of BETH that you thought you saw, and then when you realize you lost the phone, the most important thing, the last thing that you have of BETH, lepas tu AJ355 bagi argument 2 ayat, okay lah, jalan lah. Like, what the hell? So nampak, dia tak consistent. So for me, that is very irritating lah. I prefer the first 3 episodes punya Yorick because kau tak nampak dia come out of his shell yet. But if this is how he is brought out of his shell, then aku rasa it's gonna be downhill from here.
By the way, perbincangan antara 355 dengan Yorick tu kita akan bincangkan lepas ni.
Yeah. Another thing I want to add, Yorick was actually clean shaven in the comics.
Oh yeah, he does not have this. He does not have this. Yeah.
And whenever he covers his face, something macam bandana or something like that, it's your usual post-apocalyptic outfits. So I think the writers and the creators do not actually even bother to read the first paperback book from this comic lah. It feels like that.
I agree with you. Aku rasa I'm dreading reading the book sebab aku akan jadi marah. Another thing yang aku nak tambah mention tadi, kau cakap kau suka world building dia. I would respectfully disagree lah. The set looks great. The world building is not, because of these inconsistencies I'm pointing out one by one. Sebab kalau the world building is great, then benda-benda macam ni tak jadi. Because the characters that you have in this world that you build will be consistent to the world that you build. So the world that you build is not just the set. So kalau the set looks apocalyptic and the characters say what you think they're supposed to say, tapi bila kau tengok the character punya actions, macam bila kau nitpick, benda ni memang tak consistent, then it's writing, and then it's directing. So by right, kalau writer terlepas kat sini, dan director akan sepatutnya tengok macam, bro, karakter ni tak konsisten lah. Kalau karakter ni jadi kenapa macam ni, dan dia kena confer balik dengan writer ni, writer kena tukar balik. Ataupun director makes the onset punya call. So, I mean like the set looks great. Aku rasa sikit kita dah awal kita dah puji lah, macam mana dia build all this mood yang apocalyptic, all this dread kan. Tapi the world building tak sampai lah. I think the only place yang aku nampak world building yang jelas post-apocalyptic is dalam the control room, the operational room yang ada Diane Lane tu. Itu je aku nampak betul-betul betul-betul ni.
But I mean personally 10 years ago The Walking Dead did it way better. Remember bila dia nak sampai Atlanta tu at the end of season 1 and you see the set macam mana you can close down the highway supaya hero boleh naik kuda antara kereta-kereta yang tak bergerak. I mean like that's the shit that I want to see, because
I won't be surprised
that was in the comic books 19 years ago, you know?
We all wanted this to be the next Walking Dead, except being better taken care of.
Yeah.
But the first 4 episodes is like this. And we're heading to episode 5, so...
Aku rasa that highway tu, I don't think they close down the highway. I won't be surprised if they constructed the highway, because aku baru je tengok video pasal Matrix Reloaded semalam. One of the reasons why Reloaded was a huge technical accomplishment at its day, even though ratings wise dia jatuh daripada the first Matrix for the story, is because the car chase scene tu yang sangat iconic, is a technical achievement in Hollywood punya car chase scenes. Among the many reasons for that is because they built that entire highway.
Wow.
They literally built the entire highway. Semua kereta yang kau tengok dalam scene tu memang kereta actors drive lah. So dia drive, lepas tu dia dah lepas, kalau dia nak buat lagi satu take, semua kereta reverse balik.
Wow. Tapi that was Warner Bros 2003 when they had a lot of money to burn. Tapi point is macam kau cakap Walking Dead tu, I won't be surprised if they were that
able
was iconic though. Remember when kalau kau buka dia punya graphic novel, memang akan ada shot tu. That is the whole point. That is the establishing shot kan. Yes. The sheriff on a horse with like post-apocalyptic highway. That's and like it's not like Why the Last Man did not have that shit. Why the Last Man pun ada banyak lagi scenes. From him getting to New York to DC pun dah ada banyak scenes of post-apocalypse, which kita unfortunately tak dapat because Pukimat tu naik helicopter to Washington DC.
Naik helicopter and then you abandoned it to walk another 1 week.
You abandoned it 1 week away from Boston. Why?
Why?
Yang abandon tu dah lah tak explain tau.
They say dia takut they will be spotted by who? The Taliban. Who wants to shoot them? Doesn't make sense. The writers are these are all women writers. They think they are smart, but we come up with like this.
I wouldn't say they are women writers. I will just say they are not genre writers lah. And then even if they are genre writers, they just did not read the source material lah. And because of the lack of understanding and appreciation for the source material, all their ideas yang macam Nick cakap, you can incorporate all these new current ideas yang dah ada the last 10-15 years tu, because they don't understand the source material. Dia tak tahu macam mana nak import, macam mana nak integrate dengan the source material. So as a result, kau dapat apa? Kau dapat a half-assed punya attempt to adapt the source material. Lepas tu benda yang dia rasa tak relevan dan dia nak replace dengan benda-benda yang relevan sekarang, dia superimpose je. So memang kita pun tahulah kalau superimpose jadi tak cantik apa rupa dia macam mana kan. So this is it.
This is it. Yeah. And Nick mentioned the iconic scene where Sheriff Grimes naik kuda. That was the whole image, right? It tells the story already now. And we don't see one shot. We know the story by just that picture. We don't get any like thing like that here in this Why the Last Man. And that's a shame, because in terms of writing, the two books are basically on par with each other. Walking Dead probably has more issues, but I enjoyed both. So
it makes you wonder kan, dengan ada duit, dengan teknologi production sekarang, susah sangat ke kau nak replicate buku tu, even if you malas nak tulis. In fact, kalau kau malas nak tulis, you could have like do scene for scene, light for light.
Dua Zack Snyder.
Scene by
scene.
scene. Kesian kau dia dua Zack Snyder.
Ya betul kot. That's what he did with Watchmen kot. But itulah, to think that Walking Dead was done by AMC 10 tahun lepas tau. So like 10 tahun lepas diorang ada budget and they had the balls to do that shit. Now 2021, in time of COVID, you can't fucking close down a city to film post-apocalypse scenes. It's fucking bodoh lah. Tak pernah sabar lah kot. Orang memang dah duduk kat rumah kot. It's like,
Good point.
okay, so anyway, kita ada 2 komen. Pertama daripada Ahmad Nasuha. Bang Nick, esok malam live bedah struggle ke what if? Secara tradisinya, setiap hari Khamis adalah struggle dan setiap hari Jumaat adalah what if. Kita tak akan tukar schedule tu. So, join us untuk both, okay? Dan seterusnya, Amirul bertanya, adakah karakter Yorick dalam komik macam dalam series? Aku bagi kepada Henry, silakan Henry.
The character Yorick in the comic was annoying. He was not this annoying and this useless and this irritating. They purposely make his character this low. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. This is by design.
Yes, versi komik dia pada aku lebih heroic lah. Dan lebih independent dan lebih...
It's not heroic. He has more redeeming qualities.
Yeah. And dia tak macam annoying bitch sekarang yang gaduh dengan 355. It took them a while, but they were a team by the end. So, harapnya terjawab. Okay, dengan itu kita akan ke babak menarik kita yang kedua. Babak menarik kita yang kedua adalah 355 versus Yorick. Perang Ideologi ya. Di mana Agent 355 dan Yorick mempunyai salah faham ke persalahfahaman, which is the correct Malay way of building the sentence?
Salah faham is correct.
Okay, so persalahfahaman tu salah.
Itu nampak sangat kau nak melayufy benda tu.
Okay.
Because kau nak bunyi sastra.
Okay, so kita ada pergaduhan antara 355 dan Yorick. Aku akan bacakan sekarang. Yorick mengatakan 355 mengatakan, I don't owe you shit. From the whole goddamn day you were born, the whole world told you you're the most important thing in it. You know you fuck around all you want. There's no consequences. An entire life of just being given shit. You just walk into any room, you take it for granted, and now that you're actually are the most important person in the room, you could give a shit. Kemudian Yorick menjawab pula, how smart is going full fucking Rambo anytime something goes wrong? Yeah, those pilots, they were in the wrong place at the wrong time, weren't they? And now, because of me, they got ... Maksudnya Yorick akhirnya perasan bahawa Agent 355 would do anything to keep him safe. Dan sekarang dia ada rasa guilt sikit. So, soalan aku kepada para panelis, apakah pendapat anda tentang perang ideologi di antara Agent 355 dengan Yorick? Serta perasaan guilt yang dirasai oleh Yorick kerana Agent 355 terpaksa membunuh untuk menjaga keselamatannya. Kita mulakan dengan Andri. Silakan Andri.
I
don't remember this shit.
Of course, it's not in the comic book. The 355 didn't kill 2 pilots in the comic book. She killed a lot of people, but not those
But
2
what
pilots.
about the feeling of guilt? Did Yorick eventually dawn on him that, oh, 355 have to do this shit for me? I don't remember.
I don't think so, because he didn't pull the trigger. So basically, the dirty work has been done by 355 in the comics. Yeah. So I don't think ini perbalahan, kesalahfahaman, ideologi. They both understood dia punya role really well. It's just that they didn't accept it. 355, she knows that she has to protect Yorick. She knows she has to kill people. Yorick knows this, but he doesn't care. He doesn't think about it. He just say he's feeling sorry about it. Oh, they died because of me. But you don't see him macam tak lalu makan or something like that. Again, the character development is not consistent. I don't see what the hell they're arguing about. Basically, he's doing what he wanted, and 355 is covering his ass. Yeah, and 355 mengamuk because he endangered himself. I'm pretty sure if he was the selfish asshole all the time tapi tak apa membahayakan diri, I think she'll be okay with it. But that was not the case. In
Yeah.
this case, someone, he put himself in danger, some people got hurt. And for some reason he's disturbed by this. Tapi doesn't make any effort to actually correct it. So again, like I said, this episode was infuriating. They wanted us to know more about Hero, more about Yorick. And the more we know about them, the more we hate them or the more dislike them.
Yeah.
And for that, it's probably why I say it's a good episode. We know these two selfish assholes. So mission accomplished lah.
Well, 355 is trying to do the mission objective in a sense.
Yeah.
Tapi the way dia marah Yorick tu, macam dia ada agenda. Macam ni lah laki, sejak beranak lagi, semua benda senang untuk korang. Kita perempuan ni susah tau. Aku macam, that seems to be the undertone. Aku macam,
It
aku
sounded-
tak rasa pun masa aku baca komik, benda tu macam ni tu. Macam ni benda yang digembar-gemborkan oleh writer.
Yeah, this didn't happen in the comic, so we cannot actually understand the situation. But to me, she was more upset because she was not upset because Yorick is a man. I think she's more upset because she's working as this black ops agent. More upset that she does not have the liberties to do the things that she wanted. Remember the first part of the episode? She dreamt that she was a singer and doing all those things.
Yeah, that was weird, man.
That was
reality? Is that her past? Is that what she wants? Aku macam,
I think
I
that's
have
a
never
psyche.
seen this. I've never seen this shit.
Yeah, and the fucked up thing is, right, 355 currently is the best character in the show right now,
It
and
is
we're
the
getting
only.
mind fucks about this.
Yeah.
Uh,
I was weirded out by the cold open. Aku macam, apa kebutuh ni? Sejak bila dia jadi penyanyi zaman 1940-an? It is that kind of vibe. You know, like is it 1940s? Or am I thinking of the Rat Pack is 1960s? Yeah, so like, what's up with this? I've never seen it. So,
I watched this. I said, 355 ni ada hati nak jadi artis ke? But she can't do it because she's involved with the CIA, FBI, culper ring, whatever you call it lah.
it was a weird scene. And it was never in the comic. So, I wonder what they're trying to inject into the series now. You know. Jamal, did you feel that this was written, those lines by 355, it felt like a man-hating punya, like, I'm a woman, I've never had this shit, you had it easy, you motherfucker. Aku agak terkilan dengan sini, although they are perang ideologi, but it's like you're putting words into the characters that never said these fucking words in the comics. So, pendapat kau, silakan.
I did not read the source material, so aku tak boleh nak agree dengan kau kat situ. Tapi I can hear that this is what the writer wants to say as opposed to what the character wants to say. So if it's the character, we haven't heard a similar line from Agent 355 in the first 3 episodes. Jadi kalau 355 dia nak tiba-tiba bagi benda ni tanpa kita ada setup atau build up, meaning dia dengan say Diane Land ada gaduh pasal benda ni, atau dia dengan say the two pilots ada gaduh pasal benda ni, atau dia dengan Yorick lepas tu ada gaduh pasal benda ni, and then it culminated in her saying those lines to Yorick, then it makes sense. But that was not even baru ada progression dan baru ada build up lah. Tapi kita tak nampak pun, and then itu satu. Another thing is that kita tak nampak yang Agent 355 memang jenis suka bagi ayat macam ni. So kau tak boleh guna alasan, oh sebab sebelum ni dia boleh pendam je, so tiba-tiba kali ni dia marah. Point dia, apa yang Yorick buat tu marah, apa yang Yorick buat tu buat dia marah sangat ke?
Aku rasa macam terlebih-lebih marah.
Terlebih-lebih, exactly.
Nak pergi ambil phone je. Mama tu nak buat benda bodoh
like,
ambil phone je.
Kalau kita tengok the way how 355 has been really calm in the first 3 episodes and really measured, kan? And the best proof of this is how she decided on her own to take out the 2 pilots. Itu measured tau. Dan dia tak akan cakap benda in passing. So for her to do this, walaupun dia marah gila kat Yorick, is poor lah. So kita justify Yorick buat macam tu sebab dia attached dengan BETH, dan the only moment in this episode yang dia dengan Agent 355 ada exchange tu is bila dia bangun pagi, lepas tu macam, oh ni bukan pon, ini awet aku. Kau nak tengok? So macam 355 kata, aku tak kisah. So kalau 355 tak kisah benda tu, dan tak boleh nak empathize, bila Yorick kejar BETH, then by right dia tak boleh nak marah lah.
Yeah.
Bila sebab Yorick kata, sebab aku nampak BETH lah, lepas tu dia macam, BETH? Beth awet kau yang kau tengok video pagi-pagi macam porn tu. That is the only thing I have. And then dia kata macam, kau tak pernah merasa apa yang aku rasa. This is the most important thing in my life. And then perempuan tu kata, the important thing in your life, you don't know what's the important thing in your life. You don't know what you want in life.
Yeah.
And then baru it makes a lot of sense for her to mengamuk dekat Yorick.
Yeah.
That would be better. See, I'm sitting here and I'm like watching, of course lah after the fact kan. So macam, then baru kau rasa macam, okay, patutlah dia ni nak mengamuk. Because dia bukan mengamuk sebab Yorick buat macam tu. Dia mengamuk sebab dia dah marah Yorick. Dan tak marah sangat pun, dia tegur. Tapi Yorick manja kan, mengajuk. Lepas tu melenting. Dia macam, kau ni kan tak pasal-pasal kena bunuh. Barulah make sense. Tapi that was not even the case lah. So pada aku ideologi tu pun tak sampai. Sebab there was no, diorang tak bertembung. And she decided to take Yorick pun bukan sebab macam aku tak nak ambil Yorick tapi aku kena ambil Yorick. Dia willingly said, okay, I will
handle
take him that. Exactly.
Yeah.
So meaning kau faham misi kau dan kau faham peranan Yorick tu. And kau tak kisah sangat pun Yorick tu as an individual. Jadi tak ada ideologi punya ni tau. So bila dia nak melenting sampai macam tu, di mana Yorick tak challenge dia punya ideologi.
Yeah. That's why this scene was tiba-tiba pelik.
Sangat.
Pasal it felt like the writer macam, aku benci lelaki, aku nak masuk ke dalam scene ni. Aku benci lelaki. Tapi 355 yang akan cakap kebencian aku. Aku macam,
tapi
what?
Itulah a lot of writers are guilty doing that in American TV shows, especially the low budget B grade ones ataupun the lesser network stations. You hear a lot of writers telling what the characters what to say lah. So this is a good example in the sense that it's very bad sebab benda tu tak konsisten langsung lah. So pada aku sayang lah, that would have been a moment where they could have connected. Sebab kalau Yorick cakap macam tu macam, you know, tiba-tiba 355 cakap, you know what, I never thought that you would actually be that stupid and crazy to go and look just after that. Lepas tu Yorick consistent with this character, tak boleh nak jawab sebab apa, dia pun tak faham kenapa dia bodoh sampai macam tu. And then dia pun cakap lah, because it's Beth. And then 355 kata macam, she's that important to you, huh? Then kau nampak macam, okay, now there is a ni. So macam, lepas tu kata macam, yeah, because if not for her, because I came out because of her, macam benda pun. Then kita nampak, okay, Yorick ada jenis dia nak kejar Beth sebenarnya. Barulah kita ada, you know, a little nod and respect to the source material. Tapi not even something like that. So I think it was a poorly conceived scene yang dia nak buat statement tu, yang dia tak perlu buat pun sebenarnya aku rasa sebab banyak tempat lain boleh buat. And aku just rasa sayang lah. Macam bergaduh yang tak betul. For me, the marah tu is still okay. The fact that Yorick boleh terus naik motor lepas tu, itu aku tak terima lah.
Dah gaduh-gaduh ni. Jom kita pergi lah.
Sebab phone tu penting untuk kau kan. Aku yang rasa penting untuk dia. Yes. Sebab walaupun aku tak suka
bila dia masuk air tu, dia macam, alamak, phone aku.
Exactly kan.
Aku ada tak?
Yeah, exactly. Itulah pasal. So macam writers nak tunjuk sangat, phone ni penting, Beth ni penting. Okay, fine. Lepas tu macam at this important moment, right after you did something because of the phone, kau tinggalkan phone tu macam tu je. Like so habis tu first 3 episodes yang kau dah set up, tengok phone, dengar recording, hilang macam tu. I think it's quite poor.
And your thoughts about the cold open that came from out of nowhere?
Okay, the cold open tu, aku suka cold open tu because it was a palate cleanser. Kau dah tengok first 3 episodes, kau dah kind of expect how the 4th episode is going to open, dan kau rasa macam okay lah, another shot into dystopia future ke apa benda ke, atau macam mungkin shot of one of the characters tengah duduk, lepas tu tengah reflect. Tiba-tiba kau bagi a snapshot of Agent 355 punya past, or any character for that matter. So I thought the idea of it was right, the placement of it was right. I think the execution was great. If that was her voice, she can sing. Cuma aku rasa if kau dah adapt and this was the direction of your adaptation, this kind of cold opens would have been awesome to introduce all the main characters. So kau bayangkan episode 2, the opening was Diane Lane punya character. Episode 3, the opening was say hero punya character. Dia bangun-bangun baru parliament. Episode 4, the opening is Agent 355 punya character. Tapi kau takkan tengok Yorick punya opening sebab apa? Yorick was the first episode lah kau nampak dia jalan seorang-seorang. So that would have been cool. So dalam 3 hingga 5 minit kau dah explain character, kau dah establish character.
Persoalannya, was that mimpi dia ke atau dia punya harapan ke?
Aku tak tahu. I won't be surprised that if it's mimpi lah. If I were to guess, it would be mimpi. Because benda tu nampak macam dia punya coping mechanism. Bila dia lepas buat operation masa first episode lepas dia bom kan dia lari and then dia pasang lagu.
Yes.
So dia memang suka lagu. Then she gets lost in it because her work is intense. So she gets lost in the music. So I feel that, and the way it was shot, because clearly tepi semua gelap. Ini kau nampak dia dengan lampu fokus kat dia je. Kalau the set, the surroundings is very defined, it's very real, then you can argue that it is part of her memory or part of her past lah. Tapi sebab keliling tu gelap, then it will be ni lah. And then to lend further proof, is that the ending of that particular cold open was her running to the cliff. So that was metaphorical lah. So she gets lost in whatever she's doing and then she cannot see the forest for the trees. And then dia jalan je because that's her character, dia rainbow and then dia sampai kat cliff dia nak buat apa. So so itu metaphorical lah. Itu dia punya character punya story lah.
For one moment it felt like wow, macam writers ni ada cool idea tapi execution dia tak cukup bad, tak cukup banyak lah. I mean like you're right. Kalau setiap karakter ada dream sequence macam ni baru macam okay, maksudnya you really using the platform of TV to tell the story in another way.
Aku setuju.
So kita ada satu komen daripada Amirul Karini yang mengatakan aku rasa dia tinggal atau hilang phone tu sebab nanti dia kena tunjuk dari
Okay, ini aku terima benda ni.
Betul. Writer dah lupa power bank solar panel ada sekarang di market ya.
Tapi kau kena faham sebab ni dystopian world, so mungkin company yang buat power bank solar panel tu dah tutup ke benda ke. Tapi ini aku terima. Aku rasa dia orang tengah gaduh. Lepas tu dia orang tak tahu macam mana nak write scene tu. Lepas tu sebab producer kata scene ni kena ada bro. Tapi kita kena ubah dialog. Kalau ubah kat sini episod 1, 2, 3 kena ubah. Stress. Okay macam ni lah. 355 suruh tinggal phone sebab dia malah nak charge. Macam semua orang macam okay, until we get a better answer, we will not change the scene. Aku rasa lah kan.
Macam tu lah kan.
Aku setuju. This is how cynical I can be when I'm like, okay lah, malah nak layan dah benda ni.
But it's kind of, you see, the story was written from 2002-2008 when iPhone pun tak keluar lagi. So, orang still guna those Nokia pre-touchscreen punya phone. So, dulu bateri Nokia tu boleh tahan seminggu, okay? So, post-apocalypse pun tak kisah, boleh tahan, okay? So, it's like
actually, that sounds like a cool advertisement for Nokia back in the day lah kan. Sekali post-apocalyptic world tu macam Nokia, macam, bateri tak mati. Tu style kan?
bateri tak mati kan?
Tu style.
Alright, so,
shit,
you should save the idea.
You should save that.
Dengan itu, kita akan ke babak menarik kita yang ketiga. Alright, so babak menarik kita yang ketiga adalah Hero Brown. Reluctant hero. Hari dah mengeluh lah. Di mana hero cuba sedaya upaya untuk tidak pergi ke Washington DC. So kita ada quote daripada hero yang mengatakan, we got a roof over our heads, well water, maybe a little garden in the spring. Look at us. I mean, we could be really good here. We could start over. Don't be mad at me. Oh sialah. So, apakah pendapat anda tentang usaha Hero Brown untuk mengelakkan mereka sampai ke Washington DC sedaya upaya sehingga rela menggunakan seks untuk lure Sam dan mensabotajkan kereta? Aku macam, dia ni transgender man. Does he have the tools to make it work? Aku pun tak sure. So, Andri, what are your thoughts about Sam and her reluctance to get to Washington DC? Jamal?
Cuk ni, she might not have the tools, but she knows the way.
Betul. Betul. Silakan Ari.
Itu dah cukup expression tu dah cukup dalam. Aku macam dah boleh dengar apa dia nak cakap.
We have seen on TV now a transgender man trying to become a lesbian. Okay.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and I do not know how I feel about this. I mean, we know that she does not want to meet her mother. But until now kan, there has been no hinting about of the matter. Okay. I feel like they're dragging this too much tau. Just tell us why you tak nak jumpa. Just even partial explanation. If they're trying to build up some sort of reasoning for this, I don't think it's going to be worth it. Because at this point kan, we have decided that we do not like Hero Brown. I think it's hard for us to actually sympathize with her right now. She self-sabotage dia punya journey. You have to understand, they're just two, nak kata two women, it's not right. It's a woman and a transgender man traveling in a post-apocalyptic world, no food, and now you want to walk another week without a car. It doesn't make sense at all, this story.
Yeah. I mean, Sam is saying like, we can get there in the morning. Betul, tak apalah, kita tidur satu malam lah, kita tidur satu malam. And then in that malam lah dia pergi rosakkan kereta tu kan, macam.
Yeah, I mean, Sam tak sedar ke she went out and she was on a motorbike.
I think Sam sedar. Sam said, what do you do to the car? And then she like,
oh, okay.
Ya, satu lah.
So dia sedar tapi tak confront.
Tak sayang.
Oh, so Sam is in love with Hero. Okay. That makes sense.
I don't know.
No, but the thing is, we don't care.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
Yeah, we don't care. Yeah.
We don't care. I dah agak Sam has feelings for Hero, but it's just that it's so poorly written kan. We don't actually care about the character of Sam, dia punya relationship dengan Hero. What we just see is Hero kan tak nak jumpa dengan mak dia je. We don't see her reasoning at all. I mean, from the dialogue kan, the mother knows that she's seeing this guy, Michael, the guy yang dia concat dalam ambulans kan. So she knows that she's a home wrecker. Even Sam pun tahu that's the case. So the mother knows the truth. So why is she afraid to confront the mother? I don't understand at all the reasoning, the plot for all these things. And that part where she literally does everything not wanting to go to DC tau. Nak buat settlement baru tu dengan Sam. What does she know about building a farm there? What does Sam? Is this what Sam wanted? Dia cari testosterone punya serum. Kalau tidak dia punya feminine things comes out again. I assume that's the case. And then when all this thing tak boleh deter Sam, she tried to literally fuck him to stop going.
Yeah.
And then what happened? Both of them didn't follow through. And Sam was hinting that he was interested. Tapi what? Now Hero tak sanggup buat tu because what? Conscious? Or because she has no idea how to fuck a dickless man? I don't know the reasoning for all this. Seriously, I'm getting more confused as I watch this from Hero side, and she's a side character.
Yes. In the comics, she was a side character. Macam tu lah. Jamal, your thoughts about this subplot? Hero, the reluctant hero.
I wasn't surprised to see that happening between Sam and Hero, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because if Sam was a trans, it means that Sam is somebody who is very much capable of empathizing with Hero punya problem, which is the addiction lah. And even though when I say empathize with Hero, not necessarily the addiction itself, but rather the mental and psychological impacts that comes with that addiction, because that addiction will lead to certain decisions yang you can't take back, and you lead to certain actions that you might regret lah. So with regards to Sam, her gender punya identity will have a strong effect on how she sees this kind of similar situation. So she can use whatever, I presume, trauma ke experiences that she had during her transition to sort of like understand Hero punya side, at least empathize enough with Hero punya emotions and feelings lah, even though she may or may not understand, she may or may not have understanding of how the addiction affects Hero. So them having an attraction because of that is fine, because aku rasa okay, Sam, you are there to be Hero's best friend, so it means that you have to be a specific kind of person because Hero ada an acute addiction and dia ada that ni, and then kita dah nampak establish Hero punya addiction made her kill somebody. Okay, aku boleh accept benda tu. So if that closeness keeratan tu became intimate, I won't be surprised, because at the end of the day Sam is still female, kan? So if she's transitioned to a male gender, then naturally if she would want to be with a female, then naturally she would want to be with a female lah, kan? So her being attracted to Hero is fine. So yang aku tak suka is how that was written out, because right now outside of Sam nampak macam kawan baik yang kata okay, kita kena pergi Washington to become that pillar, that confidante for Hero. Outside of that, dia tak establish kenapa Sam dengan Hero ni baik sangat, dan kenapa Hero kena always pergi balik dekat Sam. Okay, and for me it is interesting for Sam to not know why Hero tak nak balik jumpa mak dia. Okay, so if there was a line somewhere in the first 3 episodes where Sam cakap, you know what happened to me, you know why I decided on this, you know why I choose to become this, you were there, and I give you that, but you couldn't even tell me why you are running away from your mom. Come on, it's me, Hero. Kalau ada line macam tu, then even if they don't tell it in this episode, we know okay, shit, there is something. So kita akan okay, tak apa, kita hold out for Sam. Then kita akan faham, okay, lepas tu kalau Hero mengada-gada dengan Sam nak buat benda-benda bodoh macam ni, PL ni, dan Sam layan je, kita faham kenapa. Because Hero was there when Sam was at her most vulnerable, or his most vulnerable. Then that makes a lot of sense. So bila Hero out of addiction, yang that's my suspicion lah, malam tu dia bukan nak ngorat, nak kacau Sam. She was just horny. I think that's
Gersang.
Dia just gersang je, and it was Sam, the only person that she has had a close relationship with, but it's not sexual, not carnal. So it makes sense for her, and then they've spent a lot of time together during this dystopian world, dystopian punya setting. So it makes sense for her to eventually explore Sam as a partner, especially considering that there are no more male lah, kan? And then the fact that Sam also knows that she killed the guy. So macam dia gersang dan everything just came together lah. And maybe kalau aku nak tambah lagi, mungkin dia rasa macam okay, aku dah sabotage, aku dah sabot kereta tu, aku nak make up for Sam, so Sam will forget about the car. So it is, in that sense, it makes sense, it's consistent with Hero punya character. The problem is kita tak nampak benda tu set up macam tu.
Yes.
Yang kita nampak Hero macam gila flippant, kejap macam ni. Lepas tu Sam pun layan je, and then tiba-tiba macam dia tidur, and then kita ingat benda okey, lepas tu dia bangun tengah malam, lepas tu dia begini. Sam yang cepat tangkap pun boleh pun boleh terlepas pandang, and then Hero sabut kereta tu. So and then Sam yang macam tak ada, kau kena pergi Washington. Bila dia start kereta tu, and then kereta tu tak boleh jalan, tipu dia tak pergi kat Hero, lepas tu cakap, did you do something to her?
Kau rosakkan, kau sabur. Sepatut kan? Ya. Instead, jom kita pergi shopping. Lepas tu dekat shopping tu lah kau jumpa Mackenzie dengan orang.
So macam aku rasa macam kalau kau nak dia kata nak pergi shopping tu sebab dia nak kena ada scene pergi dekat tempat tu dan jumpa Nora Brady punya karakter. Point is, kau boleh gaduh sambil kau pergi shopping tu.
Yes. Bukan terus cut to the shopping scene.
Terus cut to the shopping scene. So aku rasa that was fully written lah. If they wanted it to happen, I accept it. I think it is interesting for both their characters.
Yeah.
Okay, tapi how it was done was very ni. Kita dah lah tak kisah pasal Hero. Up to that point lagi kita tak kisah pasal Hero kan. Lagi kita benci dia. Lepas tu kita dapat Hero macam tu, lagi lah kita tak boleh nak macam okay lah, aku malas nak pergi muka dengan kau. Kau ni tak apa-apa lah. Yes.
Betul.
Kan? And then bila dia dah cuba treat perempuan tu, baru dia kata, oh, I'm not a doctor, I'm just an EMT. Aku macam tiu, begitu awal lah, sial.
Pasal kimak tu dah mati
Sebab kimak tu dah mati kan. Kau macam, ya bro. So aku rasa macam, like writers, do you even do group reading before you even like finalize the script, before the script goes to the ni? I won't be surprised kalau script tu dia ada plot, dia ada structure, dia ada act 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. act 1, 2, 3 in each episode, and then dia ada macam synopsis for each scene and like placeholder lines, and then benda tu tak finalize lagi, dia bagi kat director, okay jalan sebab benda ni dah postpone lama, kita kena shoot. And then on the scene, on the set, dia director macam let the actors. I won't be surprised if some of that happen, because it sounds so inconsistent, and I feel that any self-respecting writer or writing team would not allow this to happen.
Yes.
Kalau dia tak kisah pun, it will not be this inconsistent. So unless dia just tak perasan lah benda ni, which aku tak nak lah sangka dulu.
Itulah kan.
Yeah, I just want to say something. Hating a character is different than hating a character that you don't care. I mean,
betul, setuju.
Most villains that we like to see dead, right? Macam Jeffrey in Game of Thrones, right? We know the deal. When he died, we celebrate. We cannot say the same to Hero. If she died, the next episode or next two episodes,
Mampus kau lah. The scene is like, itu lah.
So we will say, okay, so what's for dinner? What's for lunch? What is this?
Itulah. Okay, next. Jatuh je lah. Jadi berjatuh je lah. Okay lah guys. So dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita akan ke babak tak menarik kita yang keempat. Alright, so babak kita yang keempat adalah Best Quest after Main Quest, di mana Agent 355 cuba memberi gula-gula kepada Yorick dengan menjanjikan Best Quest selepas Main Quest berakhir. 355 mengatakan, when we're done with the scientists, I'll help you to find your girlfriend. We'll get to Boston in about a month walking. So soalan aku kepada para panelis, apakah pendapat anda tentang janji oleh Agent 355 ini? Is this just a mere Turkish delight untuk seorang budak yang tengah emo, macam hey, silakan.
This is more evidence of the writer's hatred towards men lah. Yorick, come let's see Dr. Man. After that kita pergi jumpa Beth.
Boleh.
We walk. Fuck the horses. Fuck the bicycle. Fuck the motorcycles. Fuck cars and fuck the helicopter. We'll walk.
For a month.
Yeah, for a month. Maybe we'll see Beth in 5 episodes. I cakap terus terang, I cannot help but recall this one scene from The Godfather now. Okay, the first Godfather movie. Look at how they massacred my boy. Yeah, this is what I see. Yorick, we know that he's selfish, dumb, childish. But for him to just accept this kan, with bulat-bulat macam tu kan, kalau if 355 said this kan, and he was like still angry kan, said don't patronize me or something, at least kan it redeems himself as somebody yang macam ada pride. Don't talk to me like a child or something like that. But no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dia buat magic trick. You nak magic trick? I buat.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not a street magician. I'm a escape artist.
Escape artist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tapi buat juga.
Buat juga. That's the thing. I mean, at this point kan, Yorick is more of a monkey than ampersand now. 355 kan is like that guy who campak kacang at Yorick, and he just throw his shit on demand or something like that. I mean, like, this show really demeans dia punya male character, and there's only one male character.
Yeah. Sad but true.
Yes.
Jamal, silakan Jamal.
I don't know. I think she doesn't care enough about Yorick. At least I don't see that she cares enough about Yorick to offer him that. So, and then because masa perang ideologi kat jambatan tu tadi, dia tak kata, look, I'm sorry you lost your phone. If she had said this line during that, you know what, that we have to go. So macam, I promise you, once we finish our man quest, we'll go back on your Beth quest. It makes more sense for her to say that line there, not here. Because this moment should have been this moment should have been the moment where she feels bad for Yorick, because Yorick usually dalam momen-momen macam ni lah dia akan buka phone layan emo seorang-seorang kan, layan blue seorang-seorang. Betul macam dia tengok Yorick tak boleh buat apa, betul macam I'm sorry about your phone. Betul macam macam Yorick kata, oh, why do you say that all of a sudden? Now you would usually, be with your phone around this time. And then macam yeah, but we have the man quest to figure out, right? Yeah, I know. I didn't really know how important she was to you. I mean, like who is she? Like how is she? At least kalau ada scene tu, then kau terus tiba-tiba ada bonding scene between the both of them.
Macam reconciliation.
It's not exactly reconciliation. It's more like okay, macam the argument, the perang ideologi tu was the impetus for them to have this actual heart-to-heart talk and bond for the first time, because they are going to be walking together for 1 month to Boston. Kan? So maybe during that walk to Boston, during that 1 month, baru Yorick akan berani tanya, so kenapa kau tak naik helikopter? Sebab kita naik helikopter, kenapa kita dah jalan sebulan? So I don't know lah kan. But my point is, jokes aside, that was the ni lah. Tapi it was wasted lah, because aku rasa macam ni lah. Aku rasa the writers, I don't think they want to demean the male characters, but I think they are too conscious of the messaging they want to bring in. And when I say the messaging, not necessarily they have a lot of things to say and what they want to say. I think they have their own channels to do that. But when they have an opportunity with this book, and this book pula came at a time before semua ni jadi movement in mainstream culture, they feel that, okay, on one hand, kita kena jaga buku ni because this book is the perfect opportunity, sebab buku ni dah persoalkan benda-benda ni dan naikkan benda-benda ni, tapi from a man's point of view. So this is a perfect opportunity to take something that a man wrote about us and then have our say in it. So aku rasa they got too conscious of that, to the point that they're only thinking about the message. So the message is cool, it's loud and clear, but the messaging, how they convey these messages, bersepah karakter inconsistent, tak ada development, tak ada arc, karakter satu episode macam ni, lepas tu the next episode bagai macam ni, and then karakter buat benda yang tak logic in that world. So you get this lah, because they're too conscious of that ni. So case in point, macam kau cakap ni, perang ideologi, semata-mata dia nak cakap line tu je, oh you had it easy in your whole life. Tapi masalahnya, karakter 351 ni sepanjang first 3 episodes, dia tak pernah complain pun secara nyata.
She wasn't a man-hater.
Exactly, yes. In fact, she was, in fact, pada dia, kalau dia tak suka lelaki pun, dia kata, how I'm going to manifest this hatred towards men is I'm going to do a man's job and do it better than a man, without disrespecting a man. Because that was what I got from her and her boss. Kan, sebab the boss became dependent on her immediately. Okay, kau kena buat ni, lepas tu ada mission baru. So macam, that is great. Faham tak? Like macam, kalau boss tu, bagi satu, now in hindsight, kalau boss tu ada satu ayat, her last conversation with the boss tu kata, macam, so I have to go now, no rest, not even rest, macam, no rest, I couldn't, I would if I wanted to. Nah, it's okay, I'm used to it. Lepas tu dia gelak macam, what? Said, you know what? You're better at this than most men I know. Boom, terus. Like it's not even her words. It's the fact that a man in her life sees that. Whether she agrees with that or not is irrelevant, because that's how strong she portrays herself to be. Immediately benda tu jadi penting, tapi benda tu pun tak ada. So kita suka karakter dia because of her actions and how she says things. But now we are slowly starting to see macam, okay, what are you really about? Dan kita nampak simpang siur sikit lah episod ni. So aku rasa macam sayang. It's just sayang . Like I feel that she could have carried the entire show, but I don't know, I'm not feeling her at all this episode. The first 3 episodes, I totally felt her. Aku suka dia until the end of the cold opening. I think and on top of that,
episode ni dia inconsistent. Tiba-tiba dia masuk agenda penulis instead of being the character.
I think another reason why this happened this way is that mungkin the production was not clear and forthright with the audience. Okay, this first season is 12 episodes ke 10 episodes, and it will cover issues 1 to X. The moment, sebab diorang tak buat macam tu, when you are writing, you tak tahu kau punya goalpost kat mana tau for the first season.
Betul. First TP ke, second TP ke, at least kita kena tahu.
At least kita kena tahu. Like, and then kalau katakanlah kau tahu dalam team kau, tapi kau tak beritahu kat public. Kalau public tahu benda tu, it will mitigate a lot of this negative
Actually,
reactions.
it's quite apparent bila kau dah tak ada the Yorick berjalan sorang-sorang dari New York ke Washington DC. That's at least the first 5 issues. Then Yorick tak jumpa supermodel yang angkut sampah. That's again, aku macam, so kita kat mana sekarang ni? Kita kat mana? Why is it even called Why the Last Man? You know, it's like,
If it's called something else kan, it would be a good show. But that's the problem. This is Why the Last Man punya on-screen interpretation.
I agree with Andri. I mean, like, I wouldn't even say it would be a good show. It would be a meh. I think I would put it same quality as Timeless. That's on Netflix right now. Only Timeless is a bit.
kita tak kisah pun. You know,
No.
like,
I mean, like,
It's going to be a good show because I wouldn't be this upset.
I mean, fair point. Okay. Yep.
Timeless is on Netflix.
Yep.
Is it that hot chick from that lawyer show
Yeah.
and time traveling, like Quantum Leap kind of shit? Okay, I gotta check it out.
No, dia 2 season je. Dia bukan that lawyer show. It's oh shit.
Yeah,
Lupa
but I love her because a video
Suits,
leak.
yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
because a video leak, so that made me love her more. So
The show is the idea of the show is all right. I think the show's writing is cohesive and consistent, but it's just average lah. It's not spectacular.
yeah. I mean, dalam dunia bukan semua orang boleh jadi Game of Thrones. They must be shit movies or shit series and medium series baru kau boleh dapat level Game of Thrones. So kau
Sorry, aku tak tengok Game of Thrones.
Okay, tak apa. Bukan semua series adalah macam okay, whatever is your favorite thing. So macam tu lah.
Apa. I'm just messing around.
So kita ada 2 komen. Ana Zainal mengatakan nampaknya minggu depan macam last review je ni. Mungkin. Kita bagi semua,
I've read some reviews online. Those people who watched the first 6 episodes, they say it gets better after episode 6, but I do not
I'm
know.
not waiting around until episode 6.
I do not know if I have the power to go through this. Cakap terus terang, I may die after episode 5.
It's quite stupid lah if you build a show to be binge but it's on a platform that is not binge punya release. Hulu does not do satu hari ambil 10 episod. They do it week by week.
Yes. Yeah, I'm like fuck you reviewer. Apa 6 out of 10 episodes you want me to invest in this? Apa my blood pressure will be apa over the place.
Lah, Ari, chill lah. Dia kata it gets better after episode 6. It means it will be less bad lah. Because less bad is better. So macam
Betul.
kan, I'm taking it out of context lah. So macam
Yeah. You know what's the worst part about all this? I'm still waiting for that part in the trade paper in the comics where I do not know who, one of the president punya aide kan, they said the world as we know it is breaking down around us. A lot of the jobs yang men buat, the plumbing, the infrastructure semua, we as women, the survivors, we cannot do it. That was actually a very important mood setting in the comics yang transfer towards the whole series. It's like they cannot rescue the world. They just can salvage. We don't have that line here. That's why
Pseudo had that line in episode 3 when the president was on a conference call with the lone female engineer to fix the power supply. Remember?
Yeah, but just the power supply. But this is something else. This is the entire
ecosystem.
We lack scientists because most of the scientists are men. Most of the people who work on the plantain minyak are men. So all of these we're losing all this.
Lost knowledge forever for humanity.
Lost knowledge forever because in the comics kan they have accepted kan we will be regressing. That's the best case scenario. In this TV series kan, they're not even mentioning that. They don't even mention the things that men have done for mankind, for the woman, and they take. It's like the things that they take it for granted kan. It's like tak boleh mention langsung. That's why it sounds like me being what you call that
Masochist.
Chauvinistic apa macam apa
Chauvinistic,
hatred for the
chauvinistic, yeah.
Tapi realitinya
but the reality thing is right, this show looks like they downplayed Man punya role, they downplayed dia punya the male character. It feels like a man-hating punya TV series.
I mean, like, if you look at the current mainstream feminist movements, among the current mainstream feminist movements in the States, that is a more eminent or a more apparent, one of the more apparent movements lah, yang the louder ones lah.
Yeah, but I don't have issues if this was a man-hating TV series, if it is written properly.
Yep, I agree.
If you're going to show how shitty man is, how flawed we are, at least show it properly. But you just show one side and then ask us to accept it. So this show is half-assed, like you mentioned earlier, Jamal. It's poorly written. I don't think I can last episode 6.
I don't know. I think like next week is a make or break for me. Kalau if I can't sit through, if I'm not happy watching next episode, I'm not gonna watch episode 6. Good.
Betul.
Yeah. I mean, like, on the same page on this.
Aku rasa macam for me yang part apa nama yang man hating tu, it's not like the issue here is not the themes or the subject matter or the message that it wants to convey. And this is irrespective of the source material. For those who have read the source material, it's not just about the changes that you've made, whether it's justified or whether it makes sense ke tidak, but whatever you've made it into, whatever you've changed it to, pun inconsistent, which disrupts the viewing experience to the point that you don't get what the message, or you don't get what you were trying to say. Like, if you want us to understand, men are bad, women are good, ataupun there are certain things that women are better, there are certain things men are shit, you don't need to do a 10-episode TV series, adapt it from a source material, and have this damn project postponed by like 15 years to say that. You can write your own new series, you can do a short film, you can do a film, you can do many other things. You don't need to take this vehicle. But you can take this vehicle if you want to. But if you want to, then do it better. So, that is not the case here. So, now I go back to what Nick was saying during our previous review. Dia kata macam you were excited to see, previously you mentioned this, you were excited to see like how they made the world relevant kan. So I felt that if during that setting, that first episode where they established the current world before it became a dystopian future, before the cataclysmic event, if they established during that time the streams ataupun the movements of gender equality and against gender discrimination during that first episode, it would have made so much more sense for Henry. Henry would have enjoyed it so much better. Because the first episode, aside from setting up the dread of what's going to happen, it also sets up that these women, all these characters, are living in a man's world. But a man's world where the women are starting to gain not just consciousness and awareness, but also agency. And then, kalau dalam first episode tu benda-benda ni dah tampil ke depan, you know, kalau macam contoh masa Yorick dengan BETH was having their dinner, and Yorick and BETH had an argument over an issue about gender equality, that would have made sense. So macam we know that is the world that these people are living in already. So bila the cataclysmic event happened, then it became an exaggerated version of this world that the women are talking about and fighting for. Then I think Henry would have been able to accept this a whole lot better, on top of better writing lah, and better consistent character arcs and development lah. But that was not even the case lah, but to me. So sayang. Like that's my gripe. It's just the writing. Like I get the story is cool. If you want to say these things and you want to use White as the last man to be the vehicle, and you got the writer, the original source material punya creator to agree to it, go ahead man. Kan, like, go ahead. Kalau aku tak kisah Marvel boleh selit karakter-karakter macam ni, karakter-karakter pelik when they do their live action adaptations, go ahead man. And I'm not even attached to White the last man. But just do it nicely lah, just write it nicely, tu je. Because any well written shows and characters, if the directing is bad, if the production value teruk, atau kalau macam contoh special effects dia teruk, people will still watch it and it might just become a cult favorite because the writing is good. There are many shows that you can see that you can give that credit to. So sayang.
Betul. So Hakim Ashraf buat komen baru masuk. So is this episode also bad? Engine dia baru nak panas, tapi the more that we talk about it, the more it is apparent that it is bad. Kemudian
Aku nak sambung boleh tak? Engine baru nak panas. Lepas tu tiba-tiba hero datang tengah malam, pergi bagel bawah tu.
betul. Terus engine hancur.
So
Hero literally fuck the engine. Terokai.
bodoh hari.
Kemudian Ahmad Nasrullah mengatakan, kalau buat cerita ni pasal macam mana dia orang cari tahu virus tu ke, atau macam mana woman survive buat kerja lelaki ke, dah tentu best. Basically that's what the comic is. You know, dia cerita pasal kalau semua lelaki mati, tapi tak rasa macam tu pun tiap episod makin jauh. Aku syorkan Ahmad kau baca siri komik dia lah. Ada 63 isu.
Actually komen Mana Sohari make sense sebab when you do a TV series, ni aku ingat tak masa kita punya first review aku cakap I had a friend who wrote a novel and then the novel was adapted to a TV series, and then dia realise yang macam bila kau tulis buku kau tak jaga konti, kau tak fikir pasal konti sangat because it happens in the reader's mind. It doesn't kau tak tayang benda tu. Jadi kalau bila kau tayang kau yang kena jaga, bukan reader, bukan viewer yang kena jaga kan.
Yeah. So
Ahmad Nasrullah punya komen ni is interesting sebab bila kau baca komik, you stay with the page and then kau baca laju ke perlahan, it's up to you. Bila kau tengok TV, the pace of the show is something that you have to follow. Kau tak boleh slow kan, kau tak boleh speed up. Kan? Yes. So, it's strange now, kalau kau tengok dalam first 3 episodes, tak ada orang yang bising gila babi macam, what the fuck is happening? Kenapa lelaki mati, sial? Like betul. It's great that you have characters yang terus macam okay, kita kena take over, kita kena maintain, kita kena business as usual, cool. Tapi tak ada satu karakter dalam ramai-ramai tu macam we gotta find out what happened to the male. Why? So kalau ada terus dia kalau macam first episode terus ada doktor tu, Dr. Mann tu pun dah cukup. Dr. Mann and her team pun dah cukup. Tapi tak ada. So it doesn't make sense to me macam you are 4 episodes in. Kalau this is the second episode, then fine, I can give you face lah. Kan, sebab kau masih lagi terkejut, especially kalau first episode kau dah set up dan the cataclysm happen at the end of the first episode. So kita bagi second episode, bagi dia free ride. Third episode dia nak establish characters, tapi dalam third episode yang dia establish characters tak ada orang yang bising. Like tak ada orang macam duduk sembang kosong. Aren't you like don't you find it weird like how the men all died? There has to be some genetic thing. Blah 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 blah. Takkan tak ada orang sembang kosong benda tu. Like
patut dalam White House tu ada.
Yeah, patut dalam White House tu ada. Yang macam, I think the first thing that we have to do is figure out how this happened, because we don't know if it happened to the men, when would it happen to the women, and then somebody tiba-tiba pergi keluar ayat, if it was supposed to happen to us, it would have happened by now. Betul macam, you know, biasalah retorik lawan retorik kan, and then Dayan Lim macam, diam. I think the most important thing right now is just to run the country as best as we could, blah 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 blah. Jadi, aku, now Ahmad Nasrullah comment make me realize macam, tak ada lah, tak real lah. Tak in that sense tak real. Like
kita dah lompat ke Israel, kita dah tengok White House, and none of them pun tanya like adakah perempuan akan mati juga, ada kenapa hanya tiga lelaki.
In fact interestingly, I thought this episode would be about Israel. At least a bit of this episode would go back there.
Sepatutnya.
Yeah, our expectations were lost.
Yeah, aku rasa tak ada lah, alter takkan ada lah nampaknya.
Kan? There's a feel like that.
Yeah.
So you're saying they altered?
No, they alter.
Aku saja je. Hari pun dah malah nak layan.
Okay, kemudian Hakim Ashraf berkata, adakah ini sama seperti Titans case? Yes, most likely kita akan give episod kelima the last chance. Kalau still hamba, kita akan macam tu saja.
Titans pun korang drop kan?
Yes, Titan season 3 was sampah gila babi. Imagine bro, Ras Al Ghul boleh terlupa yang dia ada, what's the name of his stupid pool again?
Nadzru Speed.
Nadzru Speed under Gotham City. Lepas tu Batman pun tak tahu, tapi Riddler tahu, and Riddler dapat exclusive access. Lepas tu aku stop, aku tak nak tengok lah sampah tu. It's like
Riddler tak make sense. Kalau Penguin make sense sebab Penguin lepak bawah.
Oh sorry,
Underground.
bukan Riddler bro. It's not even Riddler. Level Scarecrow. Scarecrow has exclusive access to Ra's al
Oh,
Ghul's
betul.
special punya pool underneath Gotham. And Batman tak tahu. Batman bodoh.
Adakah
Terima.
writer-writer untuk Gotham lepak dengan writer-writer untuk Titans?
Most likely. Kemudian Hakim Ashraf menyimpang. Dia nak tanya Stranger Things season 4 nanti adakah kita akan cover? Kita akan cuba cover next year bila dia keluar nanti. Kemudian apa pendapat panelis tentang Star Wars Visions keluar semua episod sekali Disney Plus Alnias? Pasal dia orang tak kisah. They could care less about this series. That's why they keluarkan all 9 at the same time. And pasal setiap episod hanya 10 they what?
They couldn't care less.
They could not care less. Yes, that is the correct way to say it. Tapi at the same time setiap episod hanyalah 10 hingga 15 minit. So dia lebih macam anthology berbentuk Love, Death and Robots di Netflix. So that might be the reason. Tapi personally I think they could not care less.
Yeah, Lucasfilm does not want people to outshine them probably.
Yes, and the playlist dah cakap. Jamal?
What do you mean by Lucasfilm doesn't want them to outshine? Tak faham.
Because this is not canon.
Yeah.
This is not about Luke Skywalker or
Okay.
best tak kalau kita ada satu episod tu macam Mononoke tapi bukan Mononoke. Lepas tu kita buat satu tu macam Last Airbender. Lepas tu kita suruh studio ni buat. Tu je. This is them just like wanking creatively. You know? That's why dia orang tak kisah nak hype, nak bagi kita setiap episod satu studio. Instead like ambil lah. Korang tengok lah. Kalau korang G's lah. So kita akan cover tu 3 minggu dari sekarang, middle of October. Because kalau Disney Plus pun tak kisah, kenapa aku patut kisah?
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway guys.
Loaded sial.
Okay, dengan itu kita akan ke babak menarik kita yang kelima. So, babak menarik kita yang kelima adalah Daughters of the Amazon, di mana Hero, Sam, Nora dan Meg diculik oleh beberapa orang yang duduk di safe house yang nampak macam Daughters of the Amazon. So, kita ada quote daripada Nora yang mengatakan, Meg's too sick to move. I tried medicine cabinets. I get mugged. Second time this week. We're an easy target. ... So soalan aku kepada para panelis, apakah pendapat anda tentang kehadiran Daughters of the Amazons akhirnya di dalam siri ini? Kita mulakan dengan Andri, pembaca komik tegar. Silakan.
This is not the Daughters of the Amazons. This is the diet Daughters of the Amazon. 1 calorie. 1 calorie of man-hating power. But I do like the punya reasoning of this group to be formed lah. They're basically a group of women who were part of this women's support group shelter who were abused by men. So they have legit hatred for the opposite sex. So in that sort of case, apa I like it. There's a reasoning. At least it's well thought of, the formation of this group. But I wouldn't actually say that this is the quality replacement for Daughters of the Amazon. They're more like a bunch of hoarders right now. Daughters of the Amazon literally is a faction of power. They try to become political and they try to kill Yorick because they literally try to destroy all vestige of men. Semua simbol kelakian they try to replace or destroy. They don't have an agenda here. The main agenda is basically trying to survive. And that part when they saw the transgender person, right? I wasn't that impressed with the interaction at all tau. I mean, for a bunch of man haters kan, with weapons pula tu.
Yeah,
shouldn't they, rough up the transgender first, or at least poke dia punya kangkang, check apa kalau betul apa jantan betina?
Yeah, dia just macam aku nak bunuh kau, betul aku nak bunuh kau macam tu je.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you trying to be actually? Are you trying to become a group of scavengers or a group of, Daughters of the Amazon, something more? I like the leader punya role, apa nama dia, Roxanne.
Yes, Roxanne, yeah.
Roxanne. She shot the punya kawan, and she basically ada cakap dengan Nora Brady punya karakter, trying to get the lowdown what you doing semua.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm interested in her character. At least there was a plus point for this part. So I think this may be one of the few pluses for this episode, that we finally see some vestige of the old comics in some form in this particular scene. So aside from the interactions, I have little hatred for this particular particular essence of the film.
It's a good ensemble actress as well, Missy Pyle. She's been in a lot of shows as an ensemble actress. So aku suka that she got a very, ni kali pertama aku tengok dia tanpa makeup and then she looks fucking badass dengan pistol, dengan So Jamal, pendapat kau tentang Daughters of the Amazon or their variation of it?
I like the introduction. It's not the best introduction, but I like how they were introduced. I couldn't find anything wrong. I didn't nitpick. I was able to watch it through lah. Aku sama macam Andri lah. I'm intrigued. Tapi I guess at this point, I'm easily intrigued with anything that is not inconsistent or incoherent from the previous episodes lah. So I'm just cool. I just want to see what happens after that. Where they're going with this. I do feel that the way they killed her, the character tu macam was just a little off. Even though the manner in which they do it macam consistent dengan the image they want to portray. Aku just rasa macam, aku rasa kau tak perlu bunuh kot. But I mean, it's not an issue lah.
Dia macam ada misteri tu, macam mana that person got wounded, siapa yang buat, was it another member themselves? So
itu aku
unravels. Yeah.
Maybe itu yang I wasn't too caught up by that. I'm more interested in like how they ended up together and how is it so that you can clearly see a chain of command.
Yeah.
I think that was, in that sense, it was well written. Sebab terus boleh nampak siapa chain of command, siapa dengar cakap siapa macam ni. So it's intriguing lah. But with the disclaimer lah, a lot of things about the series can be easily intriguing to me now, given that many other things that were supposed to be intriguing, were lackluster. So,
yeah. And it looks like they are in a supermarket because the dead body was on the pallet. Yeah, it was on the pallet, and then as they walk into the next room, banyak refrigeration unit.
Dengan ayam tengah lepak.
Dengan geese and
Now that you mention, right, that was a flaw in that particular scene tau. If this was a post-apocalyptic scene, right, and people were hungry for food, shouldn't they raid like the first Tesco they see?
Yeah, this is Tesco with guns, bro.
More reason to storm the place.
Aku rasa or maybe they did not know about the place. Like sebab tu aku cakap ada intrigue, because the way they were introduced to it was that they were kept quiet. Diorang they were rather, macam mana cakap, they were low profile. So bila they got discovered by this group of people, and then dia kena cepat-cepat selinap, kena bawa masuk, and then kena tahan. So in that sense, we can see that there is a degree of secrecy lah dengan kelompok ni, dan kita tak tahu kelompok ni siapa. And the fact that their boss tu senang-senang je bunuh orang, meaning kalau ada orang macam nak belot ke, orang nak belah ke, orang nak keluar ke, macam sorry lah bro, kau nak belah boleh belah, tapi confirm you cannot tell anyone about this place, tu boleh bunuh ha.
Tapi bila anak buah dia nak offkan Nora, Mac and Hero and Sam, bos dia ungkit pula kau yang bawa dia orang masuk. Lepas tu sekarang diorang yang dah tolong kita. And then kau nak bunuh diorang.
Tak, sebab dia bos, so she gets to decide siapa yang boleh bunuh, siapa yang boleh hidup, dan itu satu. Nombor dua, dia tak tahu lagi 3 orang ni apa. So she needed more information first, because kalau diorang dah ada chain of command macam ni, and dia dah boleh survive macam ni, and then kita sekarang tahu dia boleh survive dengan ada stok banyak gila babi. So maybe dia ada a lot of influence lah. And then dia boleh macam contohnya tawar-menawar dengan Nora Brady, macam were you from DC? Then I think maybe you can help us send a message. So macam so maybe that could happen, I don't know. But it feels that way, and because of that I feel that it's nice lah. It's well written. It's macam Adi cakap one of the better things of the episode lah.
Andri, apa pendapat kau bila Nora Brady revealed that she knows identiti sebenar hero? Kan hero cakap, we are Karen and Benji. Lepas tu dia cakap, don't tell this, leader who your mother is.
Yeah.
I work in the White House, so I know who you are. So, do you think that was a surprise? Yeah, Nora Brady was playing dumb all along.
She worked for the lady lah, the Senator Brown. So I'm pretty sure dia tahu the thing since they first met lah. It was something that was I expected lah, that she knew lah. Even when she said my name's Karen and the guy's name's Benji, I'm pretty sure dia pun tak percaya
tak percaya bulat-bulat.
Yeah, and she has been like being marked twice that week. So I'm pretty sure that she's also faham why they choose to lie about themselves. So part of the defensive, you don't want to give too much information to other people. So okay, that's consistent lah. But I think she believes that hero has a reason to lie, and she herself, right, probably kept a few things to herself. Maybe she'll turn on hero later. I mean, like, what's she gonna do now? Go back to DC?
No way.
If her,
she got turned away.
That's the reason. So maybe that's why she wants to keep hero identity secret as a hero card in the future.
That's interesting. Jamal, do you think hero's identity will be a bargaining chip untuk Nora backstab to naik pangkat dalam this Daughters of the Amazon? Silakan.
Yeah.
I don't think dia akan backstab. Tapi dia akan definitely jadi bargaining chip for her to go back to DC. Because from the ending of the third episode, dia dah pergi sampai ke DC because dia nak minta tolong, and then she couldn't get help because they didn't recognize her. So aku rasa dia bengang kat situ. So based on the introduction of her character in the first episode and a bit of the second, where her work is very, very important to her, the fact that she got declined into the White House at DC really, really hurt her ego and pride, because that was what she worked for all her life. So kira bila dia tak boleh nak masuk tu dan tak ada orang kenal dia rasa macam celaka. So kalau dia nak gunakan identity hero tu sebagai bargaining chip, I think that would be it lah. It might just yang aku aku punya guess tadi, which is this Daughters of Amazon DOA ni nak hantar dia nak gunakan hero ni bagi statement dekat whoever, dekat Diane Lane tu, and then si Nora Brady ni cakap, okay, you know what, aku boleh accompany dia ni, aku boleh jadi mouthpiece kau.
Interesting.
So macam because of that, dia memang kena dibenarkan masuk DC lah, masuk White House lah. Sebab dia nak kena deliver hero. Then kalau hero kata macam apa dia?
Itu membuatkan cerita ni bukan tentang Yorick anymore.
Exactly.
Itulah tu.
That's the flaw.
Yes, that's the thing. Okay, katakanlah they wanted to do that, but they do that because they want to attack the mother, and then they want to attack the mother because the mother is keeping Yorick away from everybody, because the mother is the only one yang fikir keselamatan dunia dan nak Yorick sampai ke Dr. Mann. It makes sense if that were to be the case. Tapi that hasn't been established. I don't think it will be established that way outside of a scene where the mother says something and then kita kena imply dan faham sendiri. And I hate those kind of films and stories where aku dah cakap satu ayat tu faham then kau tulis buku lah. Kau tak payah buat TV series boleh tak? Kau tulis buku je.
Tak payah buat series lah.
Tak payah buat series, tak payah suruh orang berlakon. Sebab dialog kau tu tulis buku cukup. But that's how I feel lah. Tulis short story je kan. But itulah tu. So, yeah.
Okay. So dengan itu komen pun dah tak ada. So semua orang dah macam shock.
Aku rasa aku dengan Ari combo yang boleh tahan juga macam.
So berakhirlah 5 babak menarik dan kita akan ke harapan kami bagi episod minggu depan. Okay, so episod minggu depan berjudul Man Quest ya. Dan menurut IMDb, sinopsis dia adalah Yorick and Agent 355 search for Dr. Allison Mann in war-torn Boston. Back in Washington DC, Jennifer Brown hides the truth about Yorick Brown from her political rivals. So, apakah harapan anda bagi episod minggu depan yang mungkin menjadi episod terakhir yang BuzzPOP cover ya. Kalau dia still hampir, silakan Adri.
The only way they can actually hook me in for this show a few more episodes later is for Dr. Mann to be actually very interesting sampai kita hook on her character. We give a fuck what happens to her, and hopefully we get something from Israel.
Yes, alter.
Alter.
Itulah.
Are we getting alter or not? I want to see if they're going
Aku
to
rasa tak.
follow through this line. If
I
tak follow,
Yeah. Regina tu is gonna be the Israel storyline.
all I can say is episode 5 there must be some drastic changes lah to appeal to us for us to actually follow
Continue.
this. Yeah, I'm just saying whatever you have under your sleeve, you better just show it now lah. No more teasing.
Yep.
Jamal, harapan
Sim.
sebagai seorang penonton saja yang tak pernah baca komik tu.
It will be a better written episode lah. Dan ada payoff dan dia ada better character arcs yang konsisten dengan karakter tu punya development lah. Atau karakter tu sendiri lah. Kalau tak ada then I don't mind slow burn. I watched surprisingly a lot of the series that I completed. Tak kisahlah US ke foreign Europe ke ataupun K-drama ke, banyak slow burn. Some reason aku ni. Kecuali Breaking Bad aku tak tengok, aku tak tahu kenapa. So padahal tu slow burn gila babi tu.
Slow burn gila babi ya.
So but I can tahan slow burn lah. So macam as long as I see there's decent writing and then there's good payoff, tapi otherwise tak ada. So far I'm not putting my hopes up high.
Okay. Aku pun personally aku nak give up dah sebenarnya. Aku akan tonton satu lagi episod for you guys. Satu lagi episod, that's it. Okay guys, so
ya ke? For us ke? Sebab kita orang tonton ni tu engkau je sebenarnya. Kita orang pun sebenarnya nak belah.
Tak adalah, BuzzPOP memang bagi chance 5 episod.
Half a season ke 5
half
episod ke half season? Half season, okay.
Selalunya 5 episod je.
Okay, alright.
So siri tu ada 13 episod ke, ada 10 episod ke, tapi by episode 5 kalau engine kau still tak panas ataupun kau makin ke laut, then we will stop the pain for us and also for you guys. So terima kasih kepada para penonton yang setia menonton. Terima kasih juga kepada para panelis kita, Jamal, Raslan, Kaki Buku, serta Andri, Alwi, Kaki Mangga. Apakah pendapat anda tentang Why the Last Man episod 4? Tell us in the comment section below. That's all for tonight. Join us tomorrow untuk Stargirl, satu siri that keeps getting better and better. One of the 2 best series from Arrowverse yang still worth watching. Dan hari Jumaat nanti kita akan cover Partito What If. Aku tak tengok lagi, so no spoilers guys. Alright guys, so majulah fandom untuk negara. Jumpa lagi. See you guys.